G'day everyone and welcome back to Billabong High School. Well, what a week it's been for the New South Wales Department of Education and for Billabong High School. On Monday, our Premier Gladys Berejiklian announced to the state that schools will be remaining open, but she strongly encouraged all parents to keep students home unless they had no other option. While New South Wales public schools remain officially open to cater for the children of essential workers, more than 90% of our students across the state are now learning from home. At Billabong High School on Monday, we had nearly 400 students attend school on site. As our nation and local community increasingly move towards isolation and social distancing, on Friday, today, we had fewer than 5 students at school. However, yesterday, we've had hundreds of students logging in and checking in with their teachers from a device at home. By any measure, attempting to move a school of 400 students off-site in 1 week is an enormous undertaking, and I think it's valuable for us all to recognise that. During these challenging times, it's important that we remember the partnership concept at Billabong High School. That is, that it is all about the students. But there are 3 main groups that work in partnership to support a student's education. And they are the students, the parents, and the school. We're all in this for the same reason, to maximise the outcomes for students. And because we're all in this for the same reason, we should be all working together to achieve that outcome. Students obviously want good outcomes for themselves because it is about them, it's their lives. Parents want good outcomes for their students because we love our kids, and that's what parents do. And schools obviously are in existence to produce outstanding outcomes for students. So it makes sense that we're all working together. Not only has the concept of partnership never been more important, but this week I've seen it operate at Billabong as well as I've ever seen it. The parameters might have changed, the goalposts might have moved a little bit with students being at home and parents taking more of a role in the actual teaching and supporting from home, but the principles that underpin a strong partnership remain. And what contributes to that partnership are things like respect, shared responsibility, positive can-do attitudes, patience, strong work ethic, resilience, professionalism, accountability, trust, integrity, excellence. All of these things really come together and establish a culture of high expectations. Now at Billabong we have talked a lot about high expectations over the years, and we're always building towards improving that. In our school vision, we say that high expectations drive continuous improvement and excellence in teaching and learning. And having a high expectations culture doesn't just mean that we have stricter guidelines or we have tighter deadlines, we make things harder and more challenging for ourselves. It's a bit more than that. So high expectations are about achieving appropriately high expectations that drive continuous improvement in our performance and in the learning outcomes for students. It's about understanding the role that challenge plays. Whether that's challenging our students with their learning goals, or challenging ourselves as teachers, or maybe now challenging ourselves as parents and a community. This week at Billabong High School was an outstanding example of how our staff and our community and our students have embraced the idea of high expectations. On Monday, in response to the Premier's announcement and recognising that we had several hundred students on site, possibly for the last time, we decisively moved to issue laptops to those students who need them. On that day alone, we issued about 100 laptops, and by now, the end of the week, we've issued about 130. We're really proud of that, and we're really confident now that we're in a position to say that all students at Billabong High School should have access to a quality device so that they can learn from home. In terms of internet access, we're still assessing exactly where our capability lies, and we're still in the process of contacting all parents to ensure that students have internet access and can access the work appropriately. But I want to impress here upon you, please don't stress about that. It's going to be a process. For some individuals, it'll be a longer process. If you're at home thinking, I don't have internet access, and you're not sure when you're going to get it, or you're even thinking that you might not be able to get it due to your location or other circumstances, we've got other options. By early next week, we're aiming for Tuesday, we hope to have thumb drives available at the front office for parents or students to pick up. And we're also happy to deliver those thumb drives or express post them, whatever we need to do to get that work to parents and to students. So please don't stress if you do not have internet access and are concerned about your internet access. Yes, we are aiming to give everyone internet access and do all we can to support that in your household, but we also certainly have options if you don't. And by early next week, we are very confident that we will be able to provide a quantity of work and high quality work to parents and students who are at home supporting the education of young people. There'll be more information to follow on that. Please just follow our Facebook posts. So at this moment, there's so many people to thank, and it's a bit difficult to think of where to begin. But I'll keep it broad, and we'll look at students, parents, staff. Starting with school staff. Look, we've been a little bit overwhelmed, to be honest, with all the positive messages and feedback that we've got from the community via Facebook, via phone calls, and when parents have dropped in to talk about a laptop or to talk with staff. You know, our school staff were faced, like everyone, but particularly so in their workplace, were faced with uncertainty. They were faced with the potential of increased health risk, being asked to be on a daily basis in contact with hundreds of students and with tens of staff in a school community. Our staff showed up every day. They've taken on the challenges that come with gearing our school up to preparing for off-site learning. And I can safely say they've done that with very little complaint, and I'm really proud of what staff have done. Parents, we all recognise the massive changes that have occurred in our community in the last week or weeks, but particularly since last weekend. Many of our parents, like our broader community, have lost jobs. They've had to restructure their home life, their family situation, and they've also had to, at short notice, accommodate the idea that their children will be conducting almost all of their learning from home. So there are also challenges there around the idea that they need to now be a teacher at home. We've seen our parents experiencing that. Of course, they've occasionally seen some frustrations and some anxiety there, but what more is the case of what we've seen is parents absolutely stepping up to the plate and taking on those challenges despite the understandable anxiety they'd be going through at the moment. And so I'd like to thank you specifically. And finally, students. Look, through no fault of their own, our young people in our community and across the world are facing a challenge that most of the people, the parents, the adults have not faced. They didn't have a choice in this. You, students, didn't have a choice in this, but you're doing your absolute best and you're trying to adapt and overcome. Despite the uncertainty, despite the stress, despite the worry. Okay? The adults are running around you trying to make it all work. We're doing this because we love you, we love our kids, we care about our kids, but we also absolutely recognise the challenges that you are facing. I thank the students in our community, I thank the students in our school, and I encourage you to absolutely keep your chins up, keep working with us in partnership, and we'll make this work. So what I saw this week from Billabong High School, from the community, was strength, it was resilience, it was professionalism, it was compassion and empathy, and it was a positive can-do attitude. And these are the things that will hold us in good stead, both as a school community and as a broader community in the challenges that we face with both our education and with taking on the challenges that COVID-19 represents. What I saw this week also gives me great confidence that this school community has what it takes to face those challenges head on, to overcome them and to be victorious. Next week there will be more challenges, and probably the week after that and the months coming up there will be more challenges. For the sake of our kids, let's face them all together. Let's be great together. And let's get through this together. Thanks again everyone for your support. It's very much appreciated. Thanks for your support of our students and our school and of each other. And hopefully amongst all this, you can, over Saturday and Sunday, have a bit of a rest and have a great weekend. Thanks again.